You are watching the Midtable Up Podcast highlights. Please put your foot through that like button and subscribe to the channel. Make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, as well as Spotify and the Podcasts app.
Number 5 is again from Germany 2014. My number 5 is Per Mertesacker. Indeed. Yeah, another player who, despite having many flaws as a footballer, no pace, couldn't pass.
Couldn't defend either.
I mean, you saw him in Arsenal. I mean, he looked like a donkey at times. I remember, was it game against Sunderland where he just fell over and hurt his leg and just let the guy run in and score.
Oh my god!
Yeah. And he was part of that Germany World Cup winning side that tournament. He didn't play that often. Obviously, Hummels and Boateng were the rock at the back of the German defence. But he was there, and he's had a pretty good career. Again, you look at him; he's probably won FA Cups. He must have won some things in Germany as well. But you look at him and you just think, really, this guy? No. And again, you think of some defenders who never got to win a World Cup, and then you think of Per Mertesacker. He's got a medal. He at home sits at home and looks at his World Cup winners' medal. You're like, that's just not fair. He shouldn't be allowed. I think you should have to be at a certain level to win a World Cup.
No, I'm kind of with you, because Per Mertesacker, for me, he's one of those, like, and I know this might be a little bit harsh because you can't help, how tall and gangly you are to a certain extent, but he played football the way that Peter Crouch looked like he should have played football. Honestly, there was just such a lack of technical ability, at least in the terms of someone good enough to play top level football, top tier Premier League, international World Cup winning football. As I said, if you look at his touch and his technical ability, it is far below that of his peers. And for him to have won a World Cup, it's mental, to be honest with you. As you said, when you think of some of the great centre backs that not even just centre backs, just great players in general that haven't won a World Cup.
Yeah,
and then you realise that Per Mertesacker, someone as clumsy, untidy, defensively not that great either, has got one. It's almost a little bit of a travesty. It almost feels like it's something that feels unnatural. It doesn't feel like it should be allowed to exist. To be honest with you, I don't want to live in a world where Per Mertesacker has won a World Cup, but Lionel Messi hasn't. But yeah, there we are.
Here we are at number 5, and I think, as I say, I can't remember a time him ever being good. That's the thing, but he seemed to continually be in squads and in tournaments.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm with you on that.
It was okay at Schalke maybe, but I can't really remember a time where I was like, Per Mertesacker, particularly as a 6'4" centre half. I don't ever remember him being particularly commanding in the air either, which you'd imagine would be his greatest strength. I can't even remember him being that good at that.
Honestly. Right, and this is something that sticks in my mind about Mertesacker, is that in 2013 I went to Wembley to watch England play Germany in a friendly, and it was a fucking terrible game. Like, honestly, it was it was like peak Roy Hodgson at this point.
Was that the game you lost 1-0 with that Karani score?
Yeah, and I think he played in that. And I was sure it was Mertesacker that scored the goal.
Oh, maybe it was.
I don't know. Yeah, I think it was Mertesacker that scored. We lost the game 1-0. And honestly, to lose that game, and it was such a dreadful game, and to be like, I was like, as you said, I didn't feel like Mertesacker was ever that dangerous in either box.
No.
from heading. And as you said, when you're a 6'4" lump, if you can't do that, then what can you do really? I think for me, the player, that really sort of typified being a lump, but, so a really tall guy and not being really good for me, was Zigic at Birmingham. But at least Zigic at Birmingham could head the ball kind of well. Like, don't get me wrong, you could literally see how long it took for his brain to send a message down to his feet. That's how, I don't want to say slow, but that's really how slow he was in terms of his actual footballing ability. But you knew that if that ball went in there, he was going to get on it and he was going to make something of it. Whereas, Mertesacker, he didn't even have that for me. He didn't even have that. So, yeah, I think Mertesacker is a worthy choice to be on the list, to be fair.
And I mean, now he's in 2020, he's at Arsenal, Arsenal's academy. And when Unai Emery got sacked in November last year, he was the assistant manager there for a little while. And you could see that the defending...
George, your number two. Let's get back to the list.
My number two. Right, my runner-up, narrowly missing out on the Premier League crown. I've gone for one that we've already brought up. I've gone with Per Mertesacker. And just because I think he's such... Again, I know it sounds harsh because obviously he is a professional, top-flight World Cup winning player. But I just think he just... His ability, I think, is just so awful. I don't... For me, it should never have carried him to a World Cup. And I know that sounds really harsh. I just don't think he was ever good enough from a technical standpoint to be there. Honestly, I think if we were ever going to do a list of top 10 clumsiest footballers, I think I'd have Mertesacker, if not at number one, up there. Because honestly, I just think he has no composure about him, no touch. And even when you, as Simon said earlier, when you think of a player like Mertesacker, you think, well, he's 6'4", he's got to be good in the air. But even then, he wasn't even really that great in the air. So, yeah, for me, number two, my runner-up, I've gone with Per Mertesacker.
Okay then. All right.
That's the final whistle. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Midtable and Up podcast. If you enjoy our top 10 lists, please make sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook. Let us know what you would have done differently. If you watch this episode on YouTube, make sure to put your foot through that subscribe button and leave a like on the video, as well as follow us on Spotify, the podcast app, to keep up to date with the series. Thank you very much. See you next time.